think we'll begin now. Firstly, I'd just like to welcome you all to our Getting to Grips with Lawyer Checker webinar. My name is Gemma O'Connell and I'm the Lawyer Checker team manager. I'd like to thank you for all attending today. So this webinar is going to cover how you log into the Lawyer Checker system, how you perform an accounting entity screen search and the process about updating this. It'll also be performing a CBAC search, which is a consumer bank account checker search. I'll go through how you can understand your results. If you do have any questions throughout the webinar, please don't hesitate to submit them in the questions box. It's in the GoToWebinar control panel, and I'll try and go over a few of these at the end if we have time. I'll also leave my contact details, so if you do have any more inquiries, you can put them through. Okay, so as I am sure you're all aware, in conveyancing, criminals are stealing the identities of real firms, or they're setting up their own firms to dupe you into sending money to them. Emails are also being compromised regularly around the sector. Accounting entity screen provides you with enhanced risk management in this fund transmission. The recent changes to CQS requiring firms to be able to demonstrate more of an evident process when sending the money. This can make sure that you've done the appropriate levels of due diligence. I believe that the blanket policy on Lawyer Checker kind of creates the most safest working environment for your business. Consumer bank account checker is also a vital due diligence tool for firms to check the consumer's bank account details. This service allows you to check the personal bank details of a client that you are either sending funds to or receiving them from. Two of the most recent cases in fraud within conveyancing to make the national press this year literally could have been prevented by the use of consumer bank account checker. So we believe for the price of £2.50, it is important to use on every case. So I'm not sure if any of you are aware, but Lawyer Checker is under the Practical Vision umbrella. Practical Vision aims at identifying and creating solutions for the legal sector. You'll be able to see on the screen all of our different products. If you do want any further information on any of these products, I will be providing my contact details at the end. Okay, so we'll get started. So once your firm has registered to use Lawyer Checker and you have been added onto the account by your firm's Lawyer Checker admin, you'll receive an email like that on the screen. Your username will be the email address that you have been registered with, along with a temporary password, which is usually just a combination of letters and numbers, and your permanent PIN. So this PIN will never change unless you request to reset your credentials. So these are the details that you need to log on to our website, which is lawyerchecker.co.uk. When you click onto lawyerchecker.co.uk, you'll see on the screen that this is what the homepage looks like. Click login that's highlighted in the top right hand corner. That'll take you to the page where you can enter these credentials that you received via email. This is what the page will look like. So before you enter the site, you need to put your details into these boxes. You need to enter your email address, enter the temporary password. We always advise to rekey the password because sometimes people often copy a space before or after, which means they struggle to log in. And then you'll also have to enter the PIN that you've been provided with and click login, which is highlighted in yellow. Because this is the first time that you've logged on, you're taken to this page to change the temporary password, so you can change it to something more memorable for you. The top box, which states existing password, will again be requiring the one that you got sent via email. Then you need to enter a new password and confirm this. This password must have a number, a special character, and a capital letter. We just do this to make passwords a lot more secure. Okay, so if you pass them kind of fields and you enter the details that we require, you will go onto this page. This just confirms that the password's now been complete. It means that from now on, you'll be logging in with the password that you've now changed and that you remember. So once you click continue, you'll now be on the site where you can enter the searches. The screen will look like this, and this has the two different options to either submit an accountant and entity screen search on the left or a consumer bank account checker search on the right. So first, I'm going to go over how to perform an account and entity screen search. So as you can see, under the price £10 plus VAT, you can click perform search, and that will take you onto the page which will require all the information to submit one, as you can see here. So this is what it will look like, and this is where we start entering the details to create the search. So all the fields here are mandatory, so you won't be able to submit one if you don't have any of this information. What you achieve is solely based on the bank details entered. So the name, the postcode and regulatory number is just to help us with the further research and just to make sure that the bank details that you've searched relates to the correct firm that you are transacting with. The result will never be unknown based on the name or the postcode being spelt wrong, which usually can cause confusion. You submit a search and you realise later on that you've received an unknown, but you've typed the firm name in incorrectly. That won't have affected the result. The result of frequent, infrequent or unknown is based solely on the bank account number and the bank sort code that you've typed in. Fields required are the client account number and sort code of the firm, the name of the firm, their regulatory number, so their CLC or SRA number, and the firm's postcode. So sometimes people enter the postcode of the property that's being transacted. It just needs to be the postcode of the firm that you're dealing with. We also require the case reference number, or however you kind of want to refer to this search. This is just solely to help you with your records when you're in the Lawyer Checker system, and the proposed completion date and the type of transaction. So once you've submitted the search, you will then be able to see all the searches that you've submitted. If you were the admin on the account, you'll be able to see not only yours, but all the users in your system. And if you're not an admin, it'll just be all the previous searches that you've done yourself. So you can see on the screen that this is how they're listed. You'll see the date created, the name of the firm searched against, your reference number, and the postcode of the firm being searched against. Initial result is in the first of the results columns. So that's under initial result, third from the right. That'll come back to you within 5 to 10 minutes. This will be pending until the result is ready. And it's just usually down to a few initial checks that need doing from our end. This initial result will either be frequent, infrequent, or unknown. If result is frequent, then this is your sole response. So you'll get an email containing the PDF with the final result. If your result is infrequent or unknown, you will receive initial result PDF, but you'll also receive further research PDF in 4 working hours. This is how the result will be sent to you via email. We also send a copy of our most recent terms and conditions along with the search every time. If it is an unknown or infrequent, you'll receive 2 of these emails. So one with the initial result and then one with a PDF containing the further research. The default version of receiving a result will make you log on with your credentials. This is in order to gain access to the PDF, and this is for security reasons. If you'd rather the results emailed to you, as you can see on the screen, they've had them as attachments. You can do this by requesting it with Lawyer Checker support. You can also download the PDFs in order to gain them by logging on and downloading the search, because sometimes people don't receive the emails because maybe their domain is blocking. You can just do that by logging onto your Lawyer Checker account, clicking account and entity screen, search history, and then clicking onto the specific search that you want. Then you'll find there's 2 documents. If you double click, that'll download the PDF and you can get it that way. Sometimes people prefer to do it in that way, especially if their emails are blocking. So now I'll go over the different results that you can get. Sometimes this can cause confusion, so it's important that we clarify this so you can kind of know how to action your next step. So we can't advise based on these results, but we're just here to help your risk management scheme. If your result is unknown, this does not mean that these bank details do not exist or that we're not saying do not transact. It just means that they are unknown to our database. Clients get this result, we always ask them to double check the details they have entered, because sometimes a typographical error of even 1 digit in the sort code, for example, could change a frequent to an unknown, and by just checking these errors could save a lot of stress to the solicitor. Ask them to always act with caution in unknown circumstances, as obviously we have never seen these details before, and further due diligence checks should be taken out before ever transferring the client funds. But this can also obviously be down to certain reasons, such as it's a small firm, a firm that does not conduct conveyancing. They may recently have changed their bank details, but we're only here to advise, and further information should be checked around these areas. Next result that you can get is infrequent. This is when we have seen those bank details before. We do have a track record, but perhaps we haven't been able to pass all the checks to deem it as a frequent response. This could be because we haven't known that firm for a long period. It could be a new firm, it could be a merged firm, or it could be that they've changed their details relatively recently. It could also suggest a dormant account, or perhaps we don't have a consistent track record. With this result, then, there's something that we think you need to look into as well. So we do still see a potential risk, but we have seen these details before. So the next result is frequent. This is the best possible result within the Lawyer Checker system. It means that we have a good track record of that account being used in conveyancing transactions. We've known it for a long period of time. We've also seen it recently, and we've seen different conveyancers search against it. So we've got a good, consistent track record reflecting that. As you can see on the screen, this result shows frequent and then in brackets with a notice. This is when we think there's something that needs looking into, which we'll include in the report. This could be there's a scam alert against the firm, and there's a notice against an individual solicitor, or maybe a letter of communication that's come from the firm. This may explain like a change of bank details or something similar, but we believe that although it's frequent, we have highlighted there's something that needs to be looked at in more detail. Well as when you carry out the initial result that we've just gone through, included in the price is also the option to update this search just before completion. This allows for additional peace of mind that nothing has changed since your first search. In order to carry out this, click Account and Entity screen at the top of the top bar that you can see on the screen, then click Search Update. I'll take you onto the page where you can update the searches. So this will then bring up a list of all the searches, and it'll show the result of their initial result. And then you can see on the second column from the right, all their updated results are pending. So this means that none of these have been updated yet, and you get one update, as I've said, free within the price. We recommend that you put the initial result through at the start of the transaction, and then update it just before completion, and just to confirm that the details are still correct. If when you do update, this pushes it to the start of the queue, so it means that people aren't worried about delaying completion because their result was infrequent or unknown, which they didn't expect. So sometimes people put through their initial result the day of completion or the day before, and because it's infrequent or unknown, they have to wait 4 working hours for the further research, which often can cause stress because they expected it to be frequent. So if you do it this way, they'll push it to the front of the queue, so you'll get that result quicker. So in order to perform the update against a particular search, click that Perform Update, which has been highlighted in the top right corner. It is very important that people understand the purpose of this, and with it being included in the price, it is worth doing it in that way. Here you can see what will happen once the search has been updated, and it will indicate what date that you've updated it on, which is highlighted in yellow, and it'll include the updated result. So it's obviously best to do this as close to completion as possible, so it is accurate before transferring the funds. That's kind of everything for account and entity screen. If you do have any questions, you can put them through in the portal, and I'll try and go over them at the end. Now we'll go on to consumer bank account checker searches. So I've took you back to the home page. So if you want to submit a consumer bank account checker search, you just click a button highlighted on the screen, Perform Search, under the cost, £2.50 plus VAT. This will then take you onto disclaimer page, just to state that consumer bank account checker is only used can only be used on UK bank accounts. If you believe that that's right and that's the information that you have, you can click OK. You can also choose to not see this message again if you do believe that you understand the process and things. This will then take you onto a page which requires all the information to submit a CBAC search. Again, all the fields are mandatory, and therefore you won't be able to submit one without any of this information. Fields are the first name, surname, date of birth, and address, including postcode of the individual and where their bank account is registered to. You'll also need their sort code and account number. Obviously, make sure this is from a UK current account, and you'll have to know whether it is joint or single. You also require, again, a case reference number so you can locate this and you know what to look for within your account with us. So CBAC searches are an immediate result, so there's no 4 working hours, you'll just get this straight away. If it's been generated, you'll receive an email to let you know that the result is ready for you to view. You then need to click that link, which will take you back to your Lawyer Checker account where you'll have to log in, and this will then allow you to download the PDF. You can also locate the search by logging onto your account, and at the tabs at the top of the screen, select Consumer Bank Account Checker, then Search History, and this will take you again to a list of searches you've put through, exactly the same as account and entity screen. If you locate the specific one, click onto this, then again you can double click and download the PDF. That's how you complete a CBAC search from start to finish. There's only one version of it, you can't update this, but it's literally just one page and an immediate result. Now I'll go on to how you'll understand the CBAC results. As you can see on the screen, this result is a match. This is the best possible result that you would want to receive. So the account check, which is the top of the columns, this means that the account number and sort code that you've entered relate to a genuine bank account in the UK. The account ownership check, if this is a match, it means that whether you've entered joint account or single account, that is correct, and that matches what Experian and the bank hold. Personal details check, if this is 9 out of 9, that means the name and date of birth you've entered against the client are an exact match of what has been registered with the bank. Likewise, with the address details, if that's a 9 out of 9, then the exact address has been matched. Search results can still be a match, but it doesn't always mean that they will be 9 out of 9, as you can see on the screen. Sometimes this could be due to maybe typographical errors in the address or a missing digit in the date of birth. This is a small error, such as the year of birth was maybe 2 years different, it would probably go to a 7 out of 9 and just highlight that you need to further check the personal details that you've received. For example, if the whole address is incorrect, so maybe they haven't updated the bank with their home move or something, and that would usually result in a 0 or 1 out of 9. Obviously means that definitely needs to be double checked, because that's not what the bank holds against that account. So the next result is a no match. This is an example of obviously when caution should be taken. So because the account check has resulted in a no match, it means that the sort code and account number provided does not relate to an existing bank account. As this is a no match in the system, it won't check any further data, as there's nothing to check against. So sometimes these errors can also come from a digit mistyped, but because it's a no match, that the bank does not hold that as an account and it is not a real account. And then the final result is a unable to check. So we can't charge for these because we aren't able to check the bank account that you've provided. If this is the case, we're not saying that the account does not exist, because some people sometimes confuse unable to check and no match. As opposed to it not existing, it's just Experian do not hold the data for this account, and therefore we can provide no substance around it. Common reasons for this is that the account is maybe a pre-1990 account, never opted into third parties holding their data. Could also be that the account is post-1990, but they've purposely chosen to opt out and don't want third parties to hold it, and therefore we can't gather the information. If you do get this result, we obviously recommend that you take caution and try to gather as much information from the client as proof of bank account as you can. Similar to your AES searches, Consumer Bank Account Checker results can be found by going back onto your Lawyer Checker homepage. As you see on the screen, you click Consumer Bank Account Checker in the search tab, click Search History from the drop-down menu, and then you'll be able to locate your searches and download the PDF from there. Again, if you don't feel like you've received an email, or some firms just prefer downloading it directly from the website, that's how you can do that. This will then look like that, and you can see all the different results, such as the personal details and address scores, just for ease of view. I just thought that we'd go over all the other cyber products that we have available, just as I'm not too sure if many of you are aware of them, and it could really help your firm in fraud prevention and cyber security. So we believe under practical vision that there are many different ways that your firm can be targeted by criminals, and therefore we have a whole suite of kind of products which can protect your firm in this area. So we have email spoofing, and we can help your firm achieve Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus. We have OnDemart, which protects your email. We have dark web monitoring. Obviously, if you are interested in any of these products and you feel like your firm would benefit from these, then again, you can contact me at support@lawyerchecker.co.uk. We can give you some more information around this. Also have packages which contains 4 of these products, and it's like a monthly fee. You can obviously pick the right one that you believe your firm would benefit from. Again, if you are interested in any of these packages, or you feel like any of these would suit your firm and that you feel like you need them, contact me on support@lawyerchecker.co.uk. So that's kind of everything that we need to cover today. Obviously, if you do have any questions, them forward and I will get back in touch for you today. But I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a good day. Thank you.